the dragons are back.
Hello.
It's New Year, and so I've got Sarah back because I'm interested to find out from her how the dates have been going.
Yes, I sound so sad.
Well, at least you've got some dates.
Yeah, I know. Right, well, yes, I met somebody at a party, and it's such a cliche to say you met somebody at a party, but I was just very happy to be there, and I was with a group of friends, and someone, just at the end of the conversation, someone came up to me, and he just introduced himself by his first name and asked what my name was. And I told him what my name was, and then he promptly said, well, he's got to go, and he left. And I was thinking, oh well, but it's nice, you know, it's sort of like you don't want to have a conversation, you just want to introduce yourself. And my friend said, he looked nice. And I said, well, it's dark. And he said, no, he looked nice. Go up and say hello. And I said, well, okay. And as I was walking up and he was still by the door, I thought, well, he's just said hello, so all I'm going to do is say hello again. So I said to him, well, hello, would you like to go out for a drink? So everything was back to front. I was asking him out for a drink, and he looked at me and smiled, and there was more light in the hallway. So I suppose we had a closer look at each other. And he said yes, and he got my number, and he tried my number, and so it obviously worked. And then I still only knew his first name. Following day, when I went back, and some of my friends joked and said he'll call you tomorrow he'll call you before 11, and I was teaching the following morning, and I finished teaching, and I looked, and there was his number, and I thought, oh, he's called, and so I'll call back. So I called back.
Oh, but that was the other number.
But for the other number. So not only I have broken two golden
So he thought you were super keen.
Basically wrong. Totally two different things. Completely screwed it up.
Yeah.
I asked him out for a drink, and I phoned him. Talk about get it right. But he took, and we were on the phone for about a couple of hours actually, because we had a lot to talk about and we had quite a bit in common.
Your whole past history, basically.
Basically, well, his as well.
Yeah.
He was talking a lot about himself.
Yeah.
But then he said, "Would you want to go to lunch?" And he said he lives in West Hampstead. And I said, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And then I put the phone down. I was thinking, no, I've invited him out on a drink. I've called him, and now I've got to go to him where he lives. Bugger that. You come to me. So I just texted back and I said, can we meet in Richmond? And he said, fine, that's okay. So I thought, sort of like the rule of thumb for all internet dating is, I think, as I mentioned before, just to give it half an hour. You can tell if you like somebody even before they open their mouths. And just give it that, but it was lunch, so you've got to give it more than half an hour. You get indigestion. So I gave it about an hour and a half. Local pub, really nice food. I made the excuse that I had to go and teach a class. 3 hours later, I didn't want to go. And he was saying, haven't you got your class to
hurry up.
Oh, yes,
waiting.
I've got to go and teach a class, So it went really well, and since then I've seen him about 3-4 times, including New Year's Eve.
Oh, brilliant!
So no, he's really nice. He doesn't look his age. He looks much younger than his age, he's. But it's I think we talked about this before. He makes me the whole idea about being nervous, being sort of like a bit anxious before you're going to see somebody. I still get that, and I don't know whether it's butterflies or sort of like a gut instinct that he might be a serial killer or something. It's sort of like it's because I don't want to follow the same pattern of relationships that I've done before. Some of them have been very, very good, some of them not so good, but I want to learn from my mistakes rather than repeat them. So I think I'm very wary. I think I'm just very, very wary, and every time I start to really enjoy it, and something I think pulls me back and says, "Oh, I don't want to get hurt again." It's really weird. It's like, "Oh, I don't." Yes, someone else said that line. It's what everything becomes like a line. Perhaps it's because I've written romantic fiction before. So, if people, men and women, start to use the lines that have been in my book, and I realise how the scenario ended, it just makes me a little bit wary. That's all, I think.
But do you think the nervousness can be just a sort of process where it's not quite arrested development, but it's back to being excited about meeting a new person, like we did when we were young and on a first date, and
Yes.
a second date, and a third date? So presumably that's really positive.
Yes,
in
it is.
many
Yes,
ways,
it is. I think and also I think possibly it's dangerous to analyse it too much and just like go with the flow.
Well, yeah, maybe you're just excited to be going to see him, and that's
Yes, I am. No, I am, and it's. I'm just very happy. I'm just very happy being with him.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of, and also I think perhaps because he's slightly older, he's more settled in himself, and I wouldn't say smug, although he says smug, but not. I think he's just very, very comfortable in his own skin, and I think. Yes, but completely grown up. He's got grandchildren,
right.
But he had a daughter, very, very young, who wasn't married. That I don't think that. Whereas before, I think if you've got children up to the teenage ages or slightly younger, I think sort of, I don't know. It's because it's still early days yet.
But in a way, that's quite a good age because he's not feeling responsible for children and it doesn't affect, therefore, your relationship.
Exactly.
So the previous one that you had been seeing, that's just sort of dying a death, is it, in terms of...
Well, he was away for a long period of time and he's just come back. And he was a very nice man. And so I know a lot of, recently on, I think, Celebrity Big Brother, someone's just dumped someone over Twitter. I don't think you should do that.
No.
I think, especially if they're a nice person, like, okay, I haven't seen this person for very long, but if you do it, you do it in person, and it's very tough, and you've got to take it. But I think it's better to do it face to face, and certainly not by text.
No.
And even phone is a bit, if the connection's bad anyway, it's not. It's I think in the long run, it's better.
Yeah.
It's much, much better for both sides. I know it appears easier if you do it by text or by phone, but it's the coward's way out, and actually I think it has repercussions.
And I wonder if, again, that's something that is only fairly new, not something that we would personally do, because in our lifetime mobile phones have appeared. But do you think the teenagers and the millennials are all dumping by text, or do you think they still think that would be, I suppose it really depends.
I think a lot of it is throwaway.
I was listening to the radio this morning talking about Tinder, and obviously it's in the paper a lot because of the increase in assaults, etc., because through Tinder, but then again there's a whole increase in people using it, so I think it might just be that it's mentioned because that's part of the process rather than it being a cause. But they were talking about different dating scenarios, and they were saying Tinder is very, quick and easy, not necessarily a relationship, just fun. So therefore, if you're going to scroll through, find someone, meet them, not like them, you would just do it. You'd carry on doing that by text because there's no intimacy or kind of responsibility, I suppose.
I also think there's no depth, authenticity, and it's all a bit throwaway.
Yeah, totally.
But if it's throwaway at the beginning, where's the... And although they say also like women are becoming more like men, they're not.
No,
they're not. I think they're kidding themselves, and I think
maybe men are becoming more like women. Do you think they're more sensitive?
I think men and women are still women, and I think they may want to learn about each other and may want to play as men being more sensitive and women being more hardened and tough. No, I think we are who we are, and you can play as long as you like. But I think it's holding the breath emotionally, really, and you've got to let it out. And men are men and women are women. That's it. Nature always wins. It always wins. Always wins.
Well, that's enough for that.
Okay.
Enough of that. But anyway, that's very exciting to hear that's going well.
Yes.
We'll look forward to the next instalment.